Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Ramble Reacts. Chelsea comfortably beat Fulham in the West London derby. It's Tuesday, 3rd of October. I'm Marcus Speller.
And I'm Luke Moore.
Well, hello, everybody. We are currently at Craven Cottage.
Yeah, live and direct.
We are, well, not live to the listener.
Live right now, though.
Isn't that always the case?
Yeah, it's great to be here, by the way.
Yeah. We're in the old wooden seats, of course, in the Johnny Haynes stand.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful view. We've just seen the players who didn't play doing their doggies up and down the pitch. I find that fascinating, that if you don't play, you've got to do a load of running. You've got to do a load of sprints after. Yeah. Lewis Bowen-Morton was very much putting those Fulham players through it just a second ago. Yes, but when all's said and done, Luke Moore, the atmosphere is a little bit flat here. Partially because there's no fans.
Because everyone's gone home.
Indeed. Yeah. And partially because Chelsea beat Fulham 2-0 fairly comfortably.
Yeah, and we have a knack of picking these Ramble Reacts games, don't we? So Monday night, we think we should cover it. It's good to do a bit of extra stuff. It's good to cover the game that we can't cover on a Monday show because, of course, it hasn't happened yet. And it's great from Fulham to let us be here and sitting in the Johnny Haynes stand to cover the game. I was just disappointed that Chelsea were able to kind of 1-2 punch Fulham, and that was really that. I mean, that was kind of all she wrote. Before the game, I said to you, I thought Fulham have got a real chance here. I think they'll smell blood. I think there's an opportunity. Chelsea are brittle, despite them actually not conceding that many goals so far this season. I still see them as quite a brittle, incoherent-ish side. And Fulham, bar, a bad day at the office against Brentford, you'd say, and a beating by Man City, which can happen. I think they've been fairly decent.
They've been all right.
But what happened, of course, what transpired was they never really got a foothold in the game. No. They couldn't really get going. Chelsea were better than I thought they would be. I thought they started to show signs, having said what I've just said, of being a more coherent outfit. And you actually said to me during the game, didn't you? You said, look, you can see what they're trying to do here now, and maybe this is a part of the process with Chelsea where they're going to perhaps kick on.
And that's right. I mean, Pochettino said it's a 2-year project, didn't he? Which, is quite fanciful.
So let me know how you get on.
I'll do the first.
Stay in touch.
I'll do the first 6 months.
Yeah, I'll get you underway. Yeah.
Go easy on the next guy.
I have got that payoff, haven't I? I've got that payoff built in, have I? Yeah. Yeah.
But the one thing that really concerns me about Fulham this season so far is the lack of goals. And you could see at times they really miss Mitrovic. I miss Mitrovic, man. He'll be back at some point, won't he, Luke?
Well, he was a little visitor. I agree. I think it's a really obvious thing to say, and it's probably not something that Fulham fans like to hear because, he's gone and there's nothing they can do about that now. I thought, Jimenez found it really tough to impose himself on the game, and I think really with a Mitrovic, you've got an opportunity, even if it doesn't all go your way, even if you're up against a good team on a good night and it doesn't really happen for you, what's he going to do? Well, he's going to give you a focal point. Yeah. It sticks to him up there. He's going to occupy the centre-backs. He's going to give them something to think about, and they're never going to have a moment's peace no matter how good a game they're having, no matter how much control they're in when it comes to the game. And for me,
I miss that guy.
It's easy to be wise after the event, isn't it? But for me, I would have played Vinicius. I would have started with Vinicius because he's not as good as Mitrovic, but he's the same kind of player, same kind of profile.
Yeah. Well, you saw when he came on, I mean, the crowd certainly seemed a bit lifted by his presence. I mean,
more through hope rather than expectation, though. It was like the game's probably gone.
I think that's fair. Look, I like Raul Jimenez. I thought it was a decent signing. They needed to get a kind of Premier League striker in quickly when Mitrovic left, and I don't know. I do you feel like he's quite likeable? I really want him to do well. Obviously, as a Fulham fan, but I think a lot of neutrals might feel that about Jimenez as well. He can be quite a classy player at times. But when all said and done, he hasn't scored a Premier League goal for a long, long time. Fulham, they're not scoring goals so far this season, and I don't think that they're going to suddenly explode into life with that. I can't see Jimenez. I'd be surprised if he got double figures this season, for example.
And so we have to factor in the idea that he's had a really, really tough injury, right? Yeah. And that is difficult, not just physically, but psychologically to come back from. So we have to be mindful and put it in context that he's had it tough. But in terms of delivering numbers on the pitch, which is what he's being paid to do now, he hasn't had a good goal scoring return for a good while. No. And it's probably a bit early to say, look, is he ever going to do that again? If we don't know. Yeah. But, I mean, he's a player who's, what age is he? 32? Yeah. Yeah, he's 32. Yeah. So, is it realistic? Although a lot of strikers around European football do seem to mature like a fine wine these
days. I know
but
what you're saying.
At a certain level.
Yeah.
And I wonder whether it's possible for him to provide that kind of return. But for me, that isn't the main criticism of what he did tonight. I thought it was about the lack of presence. Because I think, and surely you agree with this, as a forward who's been asked to play up front on his own against a decent side, sometimes you're going to have to do a lot of hard work that's not really going to get you much reward, but it's really important. Like Thierry Henry would say it under Pep Guardiola. He would ask me to do 7 or 8, do 10 runs. 7 or 8 of them I knew I wasn't going to hit the ball, but that's not the point.
Yeah, totally.
And so, can he provide that presence for them against some dominant, experienced and physically imposing centre-backs like Disasi, who I think has got flaws in his game from what I can see, but physicality isn't one of them. And Thiago Silva is going to eat up these floated crosses into the box.
He had a pretty easy evening.
All night.
It's
meat and drink.
And again, with Jimenez, I think that if Fulham had wingers who you thought, that's where the goals are. You look at Arsenal. I know Arsenal are one of the best sides in the league. But you Saka and Martinelli
going to do the same for United.
Exactly. They're goal-scoring wingers. I don't think Fulham have goal-scoring wingers, But let's turn our attention to Chelsea. Mudryk scored tonight, first goal for Chelsea. Now,
big moment for him, definitely.
Yeah, indeed. I think that it's moments like that where suddenly confidence builds. You could see what that meant to him. You could see what it meant to the players. I just think that could ignite something with Chelsea here.
That's how it works with the team, right? That's how it's going to work with Chelsea. Every time a player scores their first goal, their first league goal, their first winning goal, whatever, it's going to bond them more and more.
Huge monkey off his back.
More and more experience. We've got to remember that Mudryk's going through an awful time with his personal situation as well. And what's going on back in Ukraine is obviously unthinkable, and we have to contextualise his performances within that, chiefly because we've, it's been reported that he's found it really tough, and understandably so. So for him to get a goal is massive for him. I think that you thought they were showing a bit more coherence than perhaps I did, but what have they done? They've bought a load of really good players with a lot of potential, and if it's just a case of having a mix and a blend, then all it is time, really.
Well, and Poch is the man to
I think you think he's a better manager than I do.
But possibly, but Pochettino, his record would suggest that he likes working with young, hungry players.
But a small squad, though.
With a small squad, so the small squad, fine. He's going to have to work with that. You're not going to get a small squad at Chelsea, for crying out loud. I mean, if they recalled everybody, the Chelsea diaspora, as you may call it, it would be, you could fill half the ground, for crying out loud. But I think they are beginning to show signs of what Pochettino wants to do with this Chelsea side. Brassel said he thinks he'll be gone by Christmas or December, which, it's not that far away, but this is Chelsea we're talking about. But I just think, where would they go? What would they do after that? So I don't think that's going to happen. I do expect Chelsea to improve. Pochettino also says that he tends to replace the lemons every 10 days or sometimes sooner. Well, I tell you what, I think there was a different basket of lemons.
I reckon he might. I can't believe other managers around the Premier League are missing a trick. By not employing the same tactic. I mean, is Marco Silva using any kind of citrus fruit to help Fulham?
Well, I don't know. Not on tonight's performance.
I'll tell you, he wasn't sniffing the lemons.
Go on.
Tim Ream. And you and I have clashed over Tim Ream.
Yeah, I've proved you wrong many times about Tim Ream. But
you're only as good as your last one, aren't you?
Yeah, I think you won the battle tonight with about the Tim. I mean, look, he was. There was some. I think. Despite Chelsea's dominance, and obviously once a team goes 2-0 up, they then have earned the right to take it easy in the second half. They've earned the right to kind of go, we're just going to
the game.
Yeah, we're going to contain them. So I think if you go in at 0-0 at half time, but I think we're into chaos theory there. But Fulham, they gifted Chelsea that second goal. In the second half, Chelsea didn't offer much going forward. Again, the argument immediately is, well, they didn't have to. They just contained Fulham, and Fulham didn't really look like scoring. I mean, Chelsea hit the post, they came much closer.
Willian had a chance late on. I mean, I think it took till very late on for Fulham to have a shot on target.
And I think that's a disappointing thing for Fulham, is that this lack of goals they have in the side. Chelsea were basically sitting on the edge of their box. They were playing deep. And it's like, right, now you've got a chance to have a go at them. And of course, if you're 2-0 down, you get a goal with 10 minutes to go, then the crowd are up. You've got a chance to nick a point, kind of thing. I never felt that was going to be the case.
No, I didn't
tonight.
either, and I think that's a testament to how Pochettino set Chelsea up. I think it's easy for me to say, but I would have liked to have seen a bit more endeavour by Fulham. You're 2-0 down. It's a 1-2 punch, as I said. You're 2-0 after 20 minutes. You haven't got to go for it straight away. You haven't got to panic. You haven't got to push and push and push.
Yeah.
But really, as you said, or you alluded to, last 20 minutes, you have to see them trying, because really it's a local derby, it's a Monday night game. Chelsea aren't. I mean, I take on board what has been said about whether they look like they're starting to develop a much more cohesive plan. But I still think of them as a brittle side.
Yep.
They're not conceding a huge amount, but they're not that coherent.
Yeah.
And you could probably find a bit of joy there. But the reality is, he brought Carlos Vinicius on, who I think should have started the game, should have occupied.
We saw the reaction from the crowd when he came on.
They loved it, yeah. Iwobi, I thought actually in the flesh worked really hard, did his doggies and worked really hard defensively, but he didn't offer much. Tom Cairney, you and I will disagree on this, and perhaps you can come in on this. I think this level is beyond him, personally.
That's a disgrace.
I think he's a really talented player.
How dare you?
And I like watching him play. He's an artist, and he's a great player. He's a very easy on the eye player.
Yeah.
But we're talking about an excellent championship player here. I think if you're being completely even-handed, you're essentially saying to him, your challenge here is to come on against a pretty good team in the Premier League. The team are up against it. You've got to make something happen.
Yeah.
Is he capable of that?
Yeah. I mean, that's it. Yeah. And look, and all 5 of Fulham's league goals so far this season have been scored by different players. And that is where they're really going to struggle. Fulham aren't airtight at the back. You know, they're all right at the back. But when you're not scoring goals, and if you think about it, if you look at some of the other clubs who are below Fulham in the table, you know, even Everton, they'll rely on Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I know the injury problems, but they've got a guy in there they're going to rely on. You know, even Luton will rely on Morrison. Do you know what I mean? If we're really going to, you know, Bournemouth, maybe Solanke perhaps. Morris, yeah. You look at some of the side, it's like, I look at this Fulham side and I think, who are Fulham going to rely on? Jimenez hasn't scored a Premier League goal for a long time now. Again, I like him. I really want him to do well, but as I say, come halfway point in the season, I hope Fulham aren't struggling. You know, they've got a fantastic goalkeeper. Fulham. I mean, Marco Silva said the other day he's probably the best signing, or one of the most important signings. Well, that is being seen really a lot this season. You think about the game against Everton, first day of the season. Leno, he had to make a number of good saves. He made a couple of good saves tonight as well. But look, I'm just getting jitters. I'm getting flashbacks from previous seasons. You know, last season was so a positive for Fulham. You know, it was great. You know, I think they'll be okay in the end. But
look, what it's been, as it's been a core spine of Leno, who I agree has been good. Ream, who
age is not on his side.
Ream was poor tonight, and he starts based on what I saw tonight. Is he creaking? Yeah, you've got Palhinha in there as part of the spine. Yeah. You had Pereira in there, and you have Mitrovic in there. Yeah. They've lost Mitrovic. He's gone now. They cannot afford to have those players and some other senior pros around them, like a Willian, to not perform. Yeah. And today, unfortunately, I thought Palhinha got a bit of a lesson from Enzo. I think he's a fantastic player. I think Enzo is, despite the fact he's a World Cup winner and he costs loads of money, weirdly, I still think he's not really talked about that much. Yeah. But I just thought today he was a true artist today. He's just everywhere. Keeping it nice and simple, making good decisions, all the stuff really that Palhinha's known for. Well, but maybe just at a level above based on tonight. I think Palhinha's fantastic. Yeah. Based on tonight, I thought Enzo gave him the run around a bit. Yeah,
and that Chelsea midfield, they look like if they wanted to go and score a third, like if I think that, they maybe could have done. But I do find. I mean, Chelsea is an intriguing one. Because, as I say, they've now got to go and build on that. They were without Jackson tonight, who was suspended. Of course, he'll come back in. Sterling came on, but do you see Chelsea themselves? You talk about lack of goals they've scored. Chelsea have not scored many goals at all. No. Now they were gifted one tonight. They missed some fantastic chances very, very early on. How do you see Chelsea now progressing? Do you think that we're still going to be saying, you know what? They're the Wolverhampton Wanderers of the South. Are they? Is that going to dog them? That the fact that they haven't got a guy who's going to stick the ball in the back of the net 15 times or plus this season?
Well, I think what you do realise is that if you score that few goals, you put your defence under a lot of pressure. Yeah. And today they've been gifted a goal. They had a breakthrough. The game was done and dusted after that, really. But if you're not going to score goals, you're not going to take chances. You're going to spend that much money and not really end up with a really comprehensively consistent goal scorer. Then it's tough for you. And I still get the feeling with Chelsea that you don't really feel like you can rely on them. I mean, they're away at Chelsea next. Then they've got Arsenal, which is a big game at home. That'll be a real test for them at Stamford Bridge, playing Arsenal, who obviously been pretty decent. I mean, I think they've got Brentford at home after that as well. So it's tough to say. It's still early in the season. We're 7 games in. Chelsea have scored, 7 goals now? Probably? Yeah. Can you really do anything in the Premier League if you score 1 goal a game? I mean, it's not Capello Milan back at 2. It's not 2 points for a win, is it?
Lovely reference.
It's not 2 points for a win these days.
Yeah.
I'm led to believe. So I think it's really early to say, but I do also think that if you want to see green shoots in what Chelsea are doing with Pochettino, which I think you probably feel like you can see, then I think that's interesting to me. I think it's probably a bit too early to say.
Yeah. I've just been handed something that apparently Aleksandar Mitrovic has become a fan favourite at Al Hilal. They recently they unfurled a huge banner with his face on it, and the words UEFA Nations League 2022-23 top scorer.
Oh, that's a banner that is almost expressly designed to piss you off, isn't it? They're dropping the Nations League in there.
Absolute
You're
bastards.
you're the only football fan in the world that cares about the Nations League.
Come on, clearly the Saudis do if they're name dropping it like that. And Mitrovic got an award and everything.
Does that hurt you? To see the Nations League mentioned?
I think they are. I think they're trying to get me over there. And I'll tell you something, ladies and gentlemen.
You're the first broadcaster.
They are going the right way about it.
Was it you who chopped that tree down?
Hey, how dare you? That is English heritage. I would never do such a thing.
Because that would be scandalicious if you did do that.
Enough.
Yeah. But would you be interested in just popping over there just to see Aleksandar?
No.
Like a plea?
No. I would hate to go there.
Simple as that.
And I'm a very sweaty man, for crying out loud. It was actually quite a muggy evening tonight in West London.
Bit of thunder and lightning as well.
Well, I tell you what, we had it all.
That's the only drama we had. It's the only drama we had. Why do we forensically choose Ramble Reacts games that end up being dull?
Has that always been the case?
We've done a few.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's okay because you're a natural entertainer, so I feel very comfortable here, whatever we're talking about.
Where's the dig coming? You give with one hand and you snatch with the other.
I feel in very safe hands. People don't realise probably that you're such a generous host.
Right.
And you're fantastic at relaxing a nervous guest.
Yeah.
A nervous studio guest.
Look, I'm not in Saudi yet. All right. No, I just know that we're going to the Players' Lounge after, and I'm hosting the bingo.
Is that right? Yeah. Yeah, imagine so all these players are roughly mid-20s.
Yeah.
Oh, what are we doing after the game, Gaffer? It's Marcus Speller hosted bingo. First of all, respectfully, who the fuck is that? Secondly, what the fuck are we doing bingo for?
On his own, it's number 7.
Yeah, I like the idea that your idea of entertainment is basically taking it back to Fulham's glory years.
Yeah, I was about to do some of the other old bingo tropes, and I suddenly thought, "Oh, can't do them anymore, can you?" Yeah. Don't want to get cancelled.
No.
For that.
No. No. It would be a surprise.
It would be a surprise. Well, Luke Moore, you say that we only do dull games, which is a real selling point for Ramble Reacts. If someone's listening to this for the first time,
I got this far. I mean, I don't care.
That's true enough. Yeah. God bless you for that. Well, of course, we will be back tomorrow with Andy for the regular Ramble. But the big news is we're on the road again.
Oh yeah.
And we're not just going to West London, which is just up the road for you and I.
It's just up the road for you. Let's make that very clear. It's 2 trains for me.
We're both 2 trains, is it?
Yeah.
Blimey,
can we do one at Crystal Palace? Just down the road from me? No, we can't.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you
Marcus
something. He wouldn't even get one of those trains.
This is a quote from Marcus.
He got a taxi straight to the ground.
Is a quote from
That's
Marcus.
what he got.
I'm the main one. We've got to do it at Fulham.
No, that was all the fan. That was a lot of fan emails.
Between you and me, the listeners know I'm a bad bloke.
Is that right?
In real life,
okay.
They can tell.
Come on.
What were you going to say? We're on the road again.
We're on the road again. We're going to be in Newcastle, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
That's just one train, isn't it? London to Newcastle.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
We can all agree on that. Yeah. For their first Champions League game at St James's. We are not going anywhere until the
next. You haven't heard anything, have you? Should be fine, shouldn't it?
I think so. With spades in the ground, I heard last time.
Yeah.
We're going to be in Newcastle for their first Champions League game at St James's Park in over 20 years.
Do you know what?
Yeah, we're not going to go to the ground though.
Nah.
Well, if you constantly
going to Andy's house in Jessup.
Yeah, Andy's going to the game. We're not.
Yeah, I'm excited. Do you know what? When I first fell in love with the Champions League, and we'll talk a bit more about this later in the week, but when I first fell in love with the Champions League, Newcastle were a big part of it. They were in it. They were doing bits.
Tino hat-trick.
Exactly. It was fantastic stuff. It really was. So I'm excited for that.
Craig Bellamy away at PSV Eindhoven. Could be wrong there. Was it Feyenoord? I think it was a Dutch club. Anyway, so I'm just reminiscing
here.
That's
all right. And do you remember Mike Neal's hat-trick for Blackburn Rovers as well?
Yeah, I do, oddly.
Yeah, like it was kind of a
Wasn't that the quickest hat-trick in Champions League history at the time?
This is lined up to be a vintage week for the Ramble, because yesterday You had the Scandalicious and the Liverpool thing, which is incredible. And do you know what?
Yeah.
I wish I had a chance to have my say about Liverpool stuff.
Well,
because
go on then, quickly. You want court proceedings, don't you? You think that's fair?
Look.
You think the game should be replayed at Anfield?
Let me put it this way.
Go on.
I'm just watching, and I'm happy with any development. I cannot get enough of it. I think it gets to the point where you've just got to sit back and go, this is a fucking circus.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? This is a circus, right? And I've paid my ticket. I've paid to go to games. I've paid for Sky Sports. I've paid for everything. I'm enjoying it. And I think the Scandalicious moment yesterday from Pete was sensational.
Oh, yeah.
We've got a chat. We're doing Craven Cottage here tonight. It's actually really great to sit here.
It is.
Where everyone's cleared out. It is lovely. We're just doing our thing. And then obviously we've got Newcastle later in the week. It's fantastic. So
and that corner of the ground there, that over there, that was where the Michael Jackson statue used to be.
It is right there. Because I used to work in an office just over the back of the Hammersmith end. And I used to run along here.
I regret not doing the outro before we started doing this.
I used to see the Michael Jackson statue.
Did you?
And it used to cheer me up. And I appreciate listeners can't see this. But I'm going to try and describe it to you like all great audio broadcasting. To the right-hand side of the well, I guess if you're facing the Hammersmith end, to the left-hand side. Stop it. There's 9 boxes. You see that?
Yeah.
Before this Riverside stand was built, that far box on the top floor was the finest place to watch football in the whole of this country.
Because of the view.
Because you'd get it if you came in maybe August, an early home game in the season. You'd sit there. You'd see the sunset over the Thames, which is right to your right, and you can watch the game if you want. If it was a shitty game, you could just watch the sunset.
Damn, I see.
It's fantastic.
Oh, man. And now they've got that eyesore in the new stand.
No, beautiful.
No, it is lovely. It is lovely, It's not fully open yet,
I hear rumours are telling me that you're lined up for a little hosting gig there.
Chris in the swimming pool.
Little hosting gig there, are you?
Goodness knows what christening a swimming pool is. But yeah, no, I think if there is any justice in this world, and the Premier League suggests that there isn't, of course, but if there is a little drop of justice,
the Liverpool fans think there is.
Not currently. Then at some point you will see a photograph of myself and Hugh Grant in that swimming pool. Yeah,
that would be nice. Do you know what? You know Liverpool's statement? Yeah. Right, they said they would escalate it.
Oh, yeah.
I was in a chicken shop once, and there was a bloke getting teased, a big guy getting teased by another guy.
You don't want stuff escalating.
And he actually said, I will escalate this.
Did he?
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
It's sickening, it was really terrifying. So
flipping Nora.
That's what it reminded me of. Anyway, Marcus, I think you can take us out of here if you want now.
Yeah, I think we need to de-escalate.
Yeah, definitely.
By getting out of here.
We need a resolution. We need a swift resolution to this.
Well, yeah, I think the security have gone home.
Are we pleased there's no VAR controversy tonight?
I was wanting VAR controversy going in Fulham's way, to be honest with you. I'd have loved a massive mistake that cost Chelsea a goal tonight.
What? And then the VAR took. I didn't hear what you said.
Yeah, I just popped out of the room for a minute.
Why did you say check complete then? If you didn't hear what he said, why did you say check complete? They're the 2 words you wouldn't say.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What you probably want to say is, let me just look into this a minute. Yeah.
Oh dear, but we didn't get it. Chelsea won. Well done.
Have you searched the house for the missing child? Check complete. You haven't even looked.
I think we should end on that note. Thank you for listening to today's Ramble Reacts. We're back tomorrow, as I said, with Andy Brassel for the Ramble, and then
some more good stuff.
That Ramble Reacts, of course, Newcastle United versus Paris Saint-Germain, the first Champions League game at St James's Park in over 20 years. Let me remind you all, marvellous stuff. In the meantime, find us on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram and YouTube at Football Ramble, and remember to subscribe on your podcast app. It's been an absolute pleasure, ladies and gentlemen.
Before we go, a little shout out to Jackie and to Alistair. Thank you very much for having us at Fulham. It's been great to record here. Beautiful balmy October night.
Oh my goodness.
We're in our t-shirts still. Can you believe that?
Yeah.
Getting on for 11 o'clock.
Trousers as well.
Yeah, that was made very clear to us. Yeah. It didn't go all our way, the result and that. But no, thank you very much to the club. We bloody love you. And you love him. We look forward to the next time. There we are. Thank you for watching a clip from the Football Ramble podcast. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss an upload. A single upload. Don't miss out on the uploads. The uploads are important.